Good evening. Rugby League's prodigal son, Alan Langer, has returned to play State of Origin for Queensland and even admits himself it's a surprise. Langer has spent the day swamped by media and well-wishers. New South Wales are also shocked, but refusing to criticise the selection.
The smile told it all. Alan Langer was finally home.
Hey boys.
Good to see you back, mate.
Now playing with English club Warrington, he flew in to answer an SOS from Queensland coach Wayne Bennett.
Oh, it was a big surprise, but looking forward to it, mate.
The 34-year-old halfback hasn't played Origin since leading the Maroons to victory in 1998, but no one north of the border has any doubts about his selection.
It sort of excited me and it makes me want to play, so I think it's going to lift the other guys for sure.
And it takes a bit of pressure off me, and with Alf there, he'll make me play my best, he always does.
The Queensland bus had to detour for a suit fitting for Alfie. Such a secret was Operation Langer. Only a special clearance from his club and the Australian Rugby League made his presence possible.
Ringing home, and I didn't even tell my parents, so it was a tough, but probably the best secret I've kept.
While Wayne Bennett helped show him the door at Brisbane 2 years ago, he and his old teammates are confident the little general can lift for one more hurrah.
He's been playing really well over there too, which I think is the main thing, and knowing Alf, he wouldn't say he'd come and do it unless he thought he could do it right.
Now, there's pressure on me for this game, but as I say, I just got to take it in my stride and go out and do what I do best.
While surprised, the Blues wouldn't criticise Langer's selection.
I didn't expect it. It's not to say that I don't think it's the best option for them.
They are more concerned about Trent Barrett, who's hoping a stint in a hyperbaric chamber will help him beat a corked calf muscle and line up opposite Langer. But with that looking doubtful, Brett Kamali's joined the squad.
Sydney is threatening Fremantle with legal action if they attempt to kidnap coach Rodney Eade. But the Swans' boss hasn't been given a contract extension and officials aren't guaranteeing his future.
The future of Sydney's longest-serving coach is on the agenda after a brazen approach from Fremantle. 7 News has learned departing Fremantle boss David Hatt spoke to Eade twice on behalf of the Dockers and even flew to Sydney to try and meet him. Eade refused to attend and wants to stay a Swan until his contract expires next season. Sydney chairman Richard Collis told 7 News they'll review Rodney's position and everyone else's at season's end. A contract extension for now out of the question. He's also warned the Dockers the Swans won't be bullied over their own coach and that any organisation that induces anyone contracted to the Swans to break their contract would face the letter of the law. As Essendon prepares to meet Fremantle, coach Kevin Sheedy's mind was on the concessions likely to be given to the Dockers, West Coast and possibly St Kilda at season's end, a handout he says is unjust.
No matter who ends up in the top four are going to get penalised even more so, aren't they?
The Bombers returned from 2 days at Mount Buller where a practical joke left John Barnes stranded at Craigieburn and forced to hitchhike the way back.
I think Gary Sidebottom was going to an appointment where really all they were doing was bringing Barnesy home. Nothing now. Drop him off and let him walk. It's a long way to walk from 50 miles out.
And Port's Josh Franco has been cited for striking Blues Scott Camporeale.
In rugby union, Owen Finnegan has been recalled to the Wallabies for Saturday night's opening test match against the British and Irish Lions. Finnegan returns after being suspended for stomping in the Super 12 semi-final. Matt Cobain and winger Joe Roth have also been called up. Karrie Webb has created history. At just 26, she's the youngest winner of golf's Grand Slam. Webb won the LPGA Championship by 2 shots, dedicating the victory to her seriously ill grandfather.
Karrie went into the final day with a 3-shot lead and little stood between her and her historic achievement. But she almost withdrew when she heard her grandfather Mick had taken a turn for the worse after a stroke last week. Laura Diaz was the only player to really threaten Karrie's lead.
Judged it beautifully.
But the Aussie fought her emotions, still capable of answering any challenge.
The mark of a champion.
Karrie held off Diaz by 2 shots and is now one of just 5 women to have won all 4 majors.
But the career Grand Slam belongs to Karrie Webb.
Fighting tears, Karrie's immediate thoughts turned to her grandfather. The 26-year-old overwhelmed by what she'd achieved.
I guess this is a dream of all dreams. One day it'll sink in, it'll feel really good. Right now, I'm really just lost for words.
Pre-race panic for Michael Schumacher at the European Grand Prix. His spare Ferrari stalled in warm-up, so he raced back to the pits by scooter. Ralf Schumacher right on his brother's tail for 25 laps until he incurred a 10-second penalty after crossing the line coming out of the pits. Michael winning his 49th Grand Prix with ease, the German now just 2 wins short of Alain Prost's record.
Leighton Hewitt has warned he'll be hard to beat at Wimbledon, winning the Heineken Trophy, his second tournament in 2 weeks. The All England Championship has just begun. Pete Sampras is favourite to take the men's title.
The big hitters are back at the All England club. Last year's winner Pete Sampras playing for his 8th Wimbledon crown.
I've had a lot of great memories playing on this course, especially last year what happened against Rafter, but it's the most unique place that I think we play in the game.
Next in rank, Australian Open champion Andre Agassi, who didn't make it past the semi-finals in 2000. Third seed Pat Rafter has struggled with a shoulder injury, but last year's runner-up is back for what could be his last season on tour.
Could be the last. I'm looking to take a good break at the end of the year and get away from the game and see how much I really do miss it.
This year, 10 Australians are in the main draw to battle it out for the most prestigious title in world tennis. And while Pat Rafter may be a crowd favourite, all eyes are on the 5th seed who's had an unbeatable run-up to these championships. With the Heineken Trophy and Queen's Club title under his belt, Leighton Hewitt is a 5-1 favourite. Of the women, last year's champion Venus Williams and Australian Open winner Jennifer Capriati favoured over fellow American Lindsay Davenport. Playing as a Yugoslavian, Jelena Dokic still accompanied by her dad Damir, but he'll have to behave himself after an outburst of bad behaviour last year. With a sizzling lineup of the world's best on offer, the championship is as open and wide as the queue for centre court tickets.
Queensland paceman Ashley Noffke is on his way to England. He's going to replace Nathan Bracken, who has a shoulder injury, while Michael Bevan is still a little stunned following that beer can incident.
The day after, a little sore, but it's what could have been that really scares Michael Bevan.
I've just got a bit of a sore jaw, and so in terms of that, it hasn't really affected me. The thing that I guess that I've reflected on most is the fact that it could have been a career-ending injury.
The world's best one-day player has met again with police to discuss the incident, and there'll be a review of video evidence over the next 48 hours in the hope of an arrest. Bevan will head home in a few days' time. And there's huge disappointment for fast bowler Nathan Bracken. He was originally part of the Test squad, but his tour's been cut short by a persistent shoulder injury.
Well, this is a tour of tours, and it's something you never want to leave and you want to be part of for the rest of your life.
Bracken's loss is Ashley Noffke's gain. The 24-year-old Queenslander receiving a call-up he's dreamed of all his life.
Getting a phone call to be called into the Ashes touring squad is, I guess, it's what dreams are made of.
So after saying goodbye to the one-day specialist, the Australian Test squad heads to Arundel for a 3-day match against the MCC.
And a reminder, the Yorkshire-Gloucestershire One-Day Cup semi-finals on next. We'll be joining that match live straight after this bulletin. Well, that's all for now. We'll see you next time on C7 Sports News.
This has been a C7 Sport.
New designer outfit, $250. New lipstick, $35. Evening bag, $90. The look on your ex-boyfriend's face.